Hello and welcome to the Dominion Daily for July 1st, 2025. We've got a Hinterlands Kingdom with Berserker, everyone's favorite. It does have Trail, which definitely changes things. We've also got no trashing. So we've got a 5-2. We could just open Berserker, honestly, but we could also consider Witch's Hut and then try to hit a Berserker off of that, and get that into play and do that whole business. There's a lot of trail interactions: Berserker, Cartographer, Witch's Hut. So yeah, trail looks good. Gaining trails with Berserker looks good. Crossroads should also be reasonably good since we won't be able to trash our estates, and we've got a 5-2, so we're going to pick up a Crossroads. You can also gain golds with Tunnel in the face of all the discard stuff. I'm not sure how many golds you necessarily want here because there's no plus buy. Yeah, it's a single province kind of game but Berserker can also gain tunnels and estates, so you can get some more points that way, and obviously then there's the curses. Oh, I said there's no trashing. There is Trader. Okay, well, Trader can trash curses and coppers. That might come into play. More so the curse thing, I think. You can also reveal Trader to gain a silver, but you gotta like have the Trader already. I don't know about that. Anyway, I think Witch's Hut is really likely to get us hitting 5 again, to get a Berserker into play. So I think I like the Witch's Hut opening here. They get a silver. Take the Crossroads. Okay. Scheme actually looks pretty good here. Oh, they go for Fool's Gold. I don't think you need Fool's Gold here. No plus buy. Anyway, Scheme looks pretty good overall here. Guard Dog also pretty reasonable, but I like getting one Scheme first since we've already got a terminal and we're planning to add a second one. Okay, well, they just buy a Berserker. Here we go. We did unfortunately bottom deck this, but the Berserker. Okay, so down there we just have an estate and 2 coppers, so we're gonna get a Berserker. Oh no, wait, we have the Scheme down there. Well, yeah, estate 1 copper, 1 copper. This is 6 coppers, right? Okay. And we drew the Scheme. Damn it. All right, another trail. 4, we could just take another trail. We do know that they have a Berserker that's going to be coming up at some point here, although whatever we gain here isn't really going to change that or affect that for this shuffle. The nice thing about leaving the trails in the pile is that the Berserker can gain them and be non-terminal, but it also means that the bot can gain trails, which I don't really want, so I guess I'm going to take another trail. Okay. Ooh, nice. All right. So we had one. We drew a copper, so we had Berserker, estate, copper, 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 and then we drew a copper. Right, so we have one estate down here. Interesting. Yeah, the question is, do we want to... We could play the Crossroads, draw a card. We could play the Witch's Hut, discard the trail, and then get the plus actions, and then play the Crossroads to draw more cards. Or we could play the Witch's Hut, discard trail and Crossroads, and give out a curse. It's probably overall more valuable to try to dig further into the shuffle. I mean, it's also worth noting that if we were to find another trail, we would, be able to discard. Like, so digging further with the crossroads is also good. It's, yeah, I don't know. It's not obvious. I think I'm just going to play the Witch's Hut and... Okay, well, we can just draw two trails, and that's perfect. And we get to the Berserker. And we get to attack. Alright, so this is going pretty well so far. Second Witch's Hut seems good at this point. And we top deck probably a Witch's Hut, although it could be a trail. I mean, they should be berserking at some point. We do have more trails, though. I think I'm going to go with the Witch's Hut. Yeah. We're really going in for those Fool's Golds. Can we just discard this scheme to give out a curse? I think so. Alright, let's just take another trail, I guess. Alright, already got Witch's Hut 2 trails. Boom. Boom. Okay, so draw one card either way. Probably better to play the trail first in case we draw on a state. And we did. Look at that. Okay, and we didn't need that trail. Amazing. Is there any argument at this point for getting something other than a trail with this Berserker? Because we could gain and play it. Like, we could get another scheme here, and then scheme Witch's Hut Trail, for example. Or, like, possibly Witch's Hut Guard Dog. Guard Dog... You may first play this. So Guard Dog actually, as a reaction to Berserker, isn't necessarily that good. I mean, it can... It's like sifting, right? It can be. Honestly, the other thing we could do is take a trader and start trashing coppers. But... I think scheme number 2. And then the question is, do we want a third Witch's Hut, or do we want maybe like a cartographer? It's going to be pretty hard to give out 3 curses a turn. 2 curses a turn is pretty manageable. I mean, definitely not like reliably, but cartographer is just nice to like sift through all the junk that we will forever have in our deck. But even if we can't actually activate Witch's Hut 3 times, having it be actual draw is pretty nice. So I think we'll go with that. I guess you could argue for second Berserker as well. Like, just because there's still good stuff to gain. But I'm going to take the Witch's Hut first, and then maybe at some point... Okay. Do we actually discard the trail here? It's an interesting question. I think so. Yeah, alright. Oh, they got another one. Well, we got another one. Alright, let's Berserker a trail first. I guess I'm going to hang on to the estate, because we do have the crossroads. Hang. Do we... Yeah, I guess we'll discard the scheme. Okay. So... piles are actually starting to get low. Fool's Gold and Trail and Curse. We can take one more Berserker now and, like, for the moment use it to gain a trail, but then start using them to gain tunnels and just, like... Well, if we need the points, I guess is really what I mean. We don't necessarily need the points, right? We're up by 6 right now. But if we end up needing the points... Like, I don't really want the tunnels in my deck at the moment. But... I guess the other thing we could do, actually, is take another scheme and scheme Witch's Hut double trail, and then, like, whatever about the... like, the discard attack, we'll just discard other things. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, wait. This isn't... Never mind. That doesn't make sense if we're not actually playing the scheme. Okay. Yeah, we'll just get a trail. Okay, and they don't even have anything. Okay. We might as well Witch's Hut first. Trail. Play the Crossroads for only +2. Or play some trails. I wonder if there's a... We have 3 Witches' Huts. We can't quite end the game this turn. Alright, well... I'm gonna play the Crossroads, I guess. Okay. So... Again, we don't, like, really need points. We still take some. I mean, we could take a Fool's Gold to lower piles and then buy a province. Just to make sure that we have a points. I mean, they actually... Well, I guess Berserker gaining... in theory, if they were like, Berserker gain tunnel by province, but how would they even do that? They don't have any draw in their deck. They just have a bunch of Fool's Gold. I guess, yeah, if they had kept a Berserker in their hand, then they can't have kept 3 Fool's Golds. So there's no real need for us to take a province. It's like, I'm close to a win, but I just don't have anything, like, useful to do. I guess... I guess we can still do, like... I guess leaving one trail in the pile is also kind of nice for our Berserkers for next turn, so... Let me just do what I said anyway, even though I don't really need to. I don't know. Whatever. I guess we could have also taken a scheme. Now they have a 2-card hand. And they buy an estate. Yeah, okay. All right, get the last trail. We've already given out all the curses, so the witch's hut thing doesn't really matter anymore. Obviously, still use it to activate trails where we can. And Berserker for those last Fool's Gold. Buy another province, why not? So yeah, the bot, like, I don't know why it ignored Trail, or why it went for Fool's Gold, but that's not the play here. I would say that in a closer game, like where both players are going for trails, I think this would be a lot sloppier because you wouldn't as consistently be able to line up like Witch's Hut with trail, and that when the trails ran, the berserkers would be terminal, and it would all just in general be grosser. Scheme would still help with that somewhat, but yeah, you'd end up having to take the tunnels. You'd probably take another crossroads as a result, maybe two more, I don't know. Maybe you would play with guard dog, and like I said, maybe you would play with trader because like your opponent would presumably be giving you curses. Like, it was never really worth it for me to try to like thin hoppers over what I was doing. I mean, I could have done it, but it didn't really seem important, and it didn't seem worth, like, it's like, okay, I put a stop card into my deck for next turn, and even if I can gain and play the trader this turn and trash a copper, it's still like net neutral for that turn, and then the next turn, if I do have a dud, then the trader is probably worse than the copper. So not really worth it in that case. If it was trashing a curse, right, then it's like that's a better value proposition at that point. But yeah, so I think this doesn't, because the bot just went for Fool's Golds and not trails and all that, and no Witches Huts and all that. I think it just doesn't really show off like what the kingdom sort of like should look like, and my deck looks like stronger than it would otherwise. But yeah, trail definitely saves this from being a horrible kingdom, that's for sure. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.